up here on today's show? The biggest Raiders rumors and storylines before the Chiefs game this Sunday. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, and I'll tell you what right now, if you don't spam FKC on today's show, then shame on you. It's Chiefs week. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to roll and look at all the biggest storylines. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, I'm going to tell you what I'm feeling, and if I miss any storylines, please let me know down in the comments section below. But if you don't already know what this week is, this guy does, because Jerry Daly, bang! That's the type of energy I want on Sunday. I don't care if you don't think the Raiders are going to win, because you know what? Nobody thought that we could beat the Chiefs last year on Christmas. And the number one storyline was this: can the Raiders shock the world again? The Raiders were 10-point underdogs last year on Christmas, and a Christmas miracle needed to happen. Max Crosby dropped a nice big old piece of coal in Patrick Mahomes' stocking, and I want it to happen again. I know that there's a crowd of people that want Tank, that want to find a better quarterback. I want to find a better quarterback next year too, but I also want to be able to build a team where a new head coach might want to come to, where a new OC might want to come to, where a brand new young quarterback might want to come to. And if you're trying to build Rome, I know it might take a little bit of time, but I also want to be able to put the right building blocks in place. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have won 12 straight games. The last loss, silver and black. And here's the thing, if the Raiders, if they don't show up ready to play, the Chiefs are going to boat race them, and they're going to beat them by 40, because you know Andy Reid, you know Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, they're the type of competitors where they're going to carry around a little bit of a chip on their shoulder based on the way that game ended up going down in previous years. But you're talking about the only undefeated team coming to our stadium, at Allegiant Stadium, a stadium that the Raiders have never taken care of business against the Chiefs at Allegiant Stadium. I think it's time that we stop that. I think it's time that we shock the world and do something that nobody thinks that we have a chance to do. And believe me, there's people right now watching this rolling their eyes. But you know what? Real talk. If the Raiders can beat the Baltimore Ravens, who I think by all accounts right now look like the best team in the NFL, why the hell can't we beat Kansas City? It's going to take a perfect game. I realize that. But you know what? Crazy shit happens all the time in the NFL, and I'm just looking for a little bit of magic. Actually, a lot of bit of magic for us to get a dub. So if you plan on pulling up on Sunday, if you're as a real one as Jerry Danley, as Justin Abgen, as Common Raider, hit that subscribe button, spam FKC, and I want to see your asses here on this show Sunday, because it's going down. Let's go to storyline number 2. Will Desmond Ridder play against the Kansas City Chiefs? And before I give you my answer on whether or not I think Ridder's going to end up playing in this one, this is also going to be the pinned comment here on today's show, which means you're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down. Give me your answer, yes or no. Will Desmond Ridder play against the Chiefs on Sunday? I believe that Desmond Ridder is going to play on Sunday. I don't know if he's going to start. I don't think he's going to start at all. And the reason why I do think that Ridder is going to play, it's simply because I don't believe in Gardner Minshew. And I hate saying that out loud. But I do think that there's going to be a situation in this game where Minshew's going to give us that feeling of, crap, Minshew doesn't believe in himself. The Raiders don't believe in themselves, the body language, and I'm hoping that our defense is going to be able to keep this one close, because when you watch Chiefs games this season, they're not winning games because of Patrick Mahomes and a prolific offense. They're winning games right now because of how well that defense is playing. And I believe Ridder is going to get an opportunity, because I expect Gardner Minshew to struggle, especially if he doesn't have his top receiver in Jacoby Myers. The Chiefs defense this season has allowed 17.2 points per game. I do think that's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game, but if I'm the Raiders, and I'm not kidding you, if it's the first drive and Gardner Minshew walks out there, turns the ball over, if it's the first quarter and Gardner Minshew turns the ball over, I'm not kidding you. If Gardner Minshew turns the ball over at all, fumble, pick, I don't care what it is, you got to take him out. If we're going to legitimately say, hey, we're trying to win football games this season, you cannot continuously put out a player who right now is on pace for over 30 turnovers. You're just not putting a good product on the field. And I know Desmond Ridder's probably not going to be ready to play. I don't really care. I'm at the point where I don't know what else to do. We have nothing else left to lose. Let's see what this young kid can do, because if you didn't see the video of him crying, this means a lot to him. And when somebody's motivated, they can do some crazy shit. I want to see Desmond Ridder do some crazy shit this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Got to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Get 50 when you play $5. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Prize Picks is the best way to get sports action in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50. Prize Picks, run your game. So we're talking about the Raiders here. Trey Tucker, is he going to get a pass or a rushing touchdown? So you mean receiving. Receiving touchdown or a rushing touchdown, more or less for Trey Tucker. I know another one is Brock Bowers, which is like 62.5 receiving yards. I love playing Prize Picks because if you're a Raiders fan, raise your hand. If you're like Mitch, I don't care about the season. I just want it to fast forward, and I don't want to even watch them. I hear your frustrations. But if you put in a Prize Picks lineup around the Raiders game, you're going to want to watch the Raiders again. And that's as simple as that. I play Prize Picks every single week. Not only is it my job to cover the Raiders, but I'm telling you this as a fan, I would do Prize Picks every week so I can watch the Raiders every week and have something to root for. Even if that root for is Brock Bowers getting to 62.5 receiving yards. Even if that is Gardner Minshew throwing 2 touchdowns. Even if that's Trey Tucker getting a touchdown. If you miss having something to cheer for Raiders games, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS. Let's go to storyline number 3. How does Jackson Powers-Johnson and the Raiders offensive line handle Chris Jones? This is something that I'm going to watch very closely. I love the energy that JPJ brings. And I think JPJ is going to be a Raider for life because of that mentality if he's able to stay healthy. But let's not get it twisted. I think Chris Jones is the best defensive tackle in the NFL outside of Dexter Lawrence right now. I do think Dexter Lawrence is playing at an all-time high. But if you were to ask 32 general managers who's the best DT, I think most people are going to say Chris Jones because they respect what he's been able to do for such a long time. But if you're the silver and black, you got to figure out a way to not let this guy totally wreck your game in an area where the Raiders have been getting wrecked on the interior offensive line. Antonio Pierce had this to say about handling Chris Jones. We're not going to leave him on an island. I'm going to tell you that. It'll be Jackson Powers-Johnson and the group. Jackson and 5 other guys. But no, we cannot leave a rookie offensive lineman on Chris Jones. That's not going to happen. Didn't do it last year. Don't plan on doing it this year because he's going against obviously a premier, probably future Hall of Famer at defensive tackle. And to do that to a rookie, we're not in that business. But excited to see it through because he's going to battle. It's going to be a slugfest in there. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this because I know that not everybody watches the show every single day. Believe me, it's all good. But one of the things that I said earlier on the show was that I was told by a source at the Raiders that they were going to use 6 offensive lineman schemes this week, where they're going to put out 6 offensive linemen. And you saw it at spurts last season. You saw it at spurts even last week where Thayer Munford was playing, I guess, left tackle, and then it was Colton Miller, and then it was JPJ, Andre James, Dylan Palmer, Jordan Meredith, and then it ended up being DJ Glaze. I'm telling you all this right now. You're going to see it this week. The Raiders want to be able to counteract Chris Jones, but they also want to be able to lean on their running game. They also want to be able to protect Gardner Minshew to give him a little bit more confidence. So if you see this quote, again, I'm going to go back to what AP said here because he said Jackson Powers-Johnson and 5 other guys. So that tells me that JPJ is one, and then there's 5 other players that Antonio Pierce expects to be able to use to be able to slow down Chris Jones and to be able to slow down that Chiefs offensive line. You're going to see Colt Miller. You're going to see JPJ. You're probably going to see Andre James. I don't know if you're going to see Dylan Parham out there. He's been banged up. You're going to see DJ Glaze, but then you're also going to see Jordan Meredith. I promise you this. You're going to see Jordan Meredith, and now that I'm looking at that offensive line, that's on me, Chugs. I was getting ready to change it. The picture is Thayer Munford. That's on me. You're going to see the Raiders, though, multiple times this week go out there and use 6 players on that offensive line. Let's go to storyline number 4. Will Brock Bowers outshine Travis Kelce? For a long time, Travis Kelce has been the best NFL in the National Football League, and I don't think anybody's really going to debate that. Kelce's been king of the hill for a long time. But you know what? I think Brock Bowers is better than Travis Kelce right now. I'm not saying that from a career standpoint. That's a dumb thing to say. Maybe Bowers can live up to it. But I'm telling you this. Antonio Pierce earlier in the week said that it all starts with Travis Kelce for that Chiefs offense. If I'm AP, if I'm Brock Bowers, hell, if I'm a competitor in general, guess what? I always want to be able to play my best when you're going up against the best. And right now, if I'm Bowers, I go, you're getting ready to hand over the torch to me. You're getting ready to hand over that crown of best tight end in the National Football League. And if Bowers goes out there and outplays and outshines Kelce on the same field in front of his own fans, I think the national media is finally going to start rallying and going, wow, Brock Bowers might actually be the best tight end in the NFL. Because when you compare these two stats, Bowers is crushing Travis Kelce. And I know that every situation is different. But I'll also say, the Chiefs have been without a lot of top wide receivers. He's got Patrick Mahomes. He's got Andy Reid. I can't even imagine the numbers that Bowers would be putting up if he had Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and that offense. It would be staggering numbers. Also on top of that, the reason why I expect a really big game from number 89 on our sideline, the Chiefs are the worst team in the NFL against tight ends in 2024. They have allowed the 30th most targets. They are tied for 31st in receptions. They are tied for 31st in receiving yards against. They have allowed 2 touchdowns, and if you're playing fantasy football, they have allowed the most fantasy points to the tight end position this season. Bottom line, the Chiefs, when they go up against tight ends, they really struggle. So guess what I'm going to ask right now? And this might be a crazy question to some, but I would say people that actually have watched football this season, not just Raiders games, but people who have also watched Chiefs games this season. Who's the better tight end right now? If you think it's Brock Bowers, type BB. If you think it's Travis Kelce, type TK. My answer on this one is very simple. There is one tight end in the National Football League that is the best tight end right now. It's Brock Bowers. He's got an 88.3 PFF grade, best in the NFL. When you look at his blocking grades, passing and run, he's one of the best already blocking tight ends. And usually, players that are tight ends really struggle to get going in that game. But I think the reason why he's on pace to shatter the rookie reception record, to shatter the rookie receiving yards record, to shatter the rookie receptions, receiving yards, and then also, I want to say targets record. He's on pace to absolutely positively shatter all those records at rookie. Why? At the tight end position. Why? Because he can do so many different things. He can beat you in so many different ways, and I can't wait for the entire NFL world to see when Brock Bowers embarrasses Travis Kelce, who's clearly lost a step or two. Let's go to storyline number 5 here. What will the Raiders do at the trade deadline? Are they going to buy or are they going to sell? The reason why that I bring this one up is because the Raiders are 2-5. Antonio Pierce flat out looked at everybody in the eyes and said, we're tired of losing games. We're not in tank mode. We're trying to win. All right, fair enough. If the Raiders win this game and you go to 3-4, are they really going to be like, or 3-5, excuse me, are they going to be a team where they're like, hey, I am all freaking in? Because there's 3 options, obviously, that could happen. Option number 1 is if the Raiders beat the Chiefs, I could see them trying to be buyers at the deadline because they go, hey, if we can beat the defending Super Bowl champs, if we can take care of business against the best team in the NFL right now, maybe we should be buyers. Maybe we should look to add some extra pieces here. If the Raiders lose, which, hate to admit it, it's probably the more likely thing that's going to happen. If the Raiders lose, what should they do? If they lose, they should be sellers. But I can't get mad at AP and Telesco for not, putting their jobs on the line, because I would want to try to save my job as well. I wouldn't want to just roll over and play dead and say, all right, I'm okay just losing my job. Because I'll tell you this, if the Raiders don't win another game for the remainder of the year and they go 2-15, I don't know how you bring back Antonio Pierce. I don't know how you bring back Luke Getsy. I don't know how you bring back any of those guys. And I know that the Raiders should be sellers. We should already be planning for 2025. But I can't knock coaches for trying to win, because that's what I would try to do. I would try to win some games. I do want to throw in one last bonus storyline, and it's around Jakobi Meyers and whether or not he's going to be able to play this week. Meyers practiced in a limited fashion on Wednesday, but he did not practice today on Thursday. I'm just telling you all this right now. I do not expect Jakobi Meyers to play this week. And the only reason why that I say that is because when a player practices in a limited fashion and then they end up missing time, I am recording this video on Thursday, okay? I'm going to put the video out on Friday. That's just how it goes. I'm being fully transparent. If Jakobi Meyers does not practice on Friday, he will not play this week. I'm telling you what I'm being told. If Jakobi does not practice on Friday, he is not going to play this week against Kansas City, which means, I'm telling you, if that's the case, get ready for a lot of 6 offensive lineman sets, and the Raiders are going to run the football so much to a point where it might drive you a little bit nuts on Sunday. So one more time here, we got a Week 8 matchup. The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs up against the Las Vegas Raiders. I hope that you guys end up showing up. Do you see these guys on screen? That's crazy. I hope that you guys end up showing up and that you're ready to rock and roll, because we're going to bring that action. I'm going to bring the smoke. If we expect the Raiders to show up, I know we show up every week. That's part about being a fan. It's also part about being a family. You show up for one another. I'll be here. I hope that you guys are here as well. Jeremy's going to be here as well. It's time to put up or shut up time, and there's nothing that quite hits like an FKC.